Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 654. Today we'll be doing battle with Pygmalion. And so it's been about a week since our last video. Welcome back. I'll be honest with you, it'll probably be about another week before we're able to get another one on the books and out to the old YouTube. But with the holiday season here, I get a little bit extra busy. I can't just say, "Hey fam, I'm gonna go do a couple hours of YouTube stuff, enjoy the fire and roast some marshmallows without me. I'll be back in a bit, And so it just kind of is what it is. Things always slow down at the end of the year. Hopefully, at the beginning of the year, things will pick back up. But as far as this video goes, we'll be playing Pygmalion here. We're going to play on the ranked queue, and I intend to play out the rest of this patch in the normal queue. And there's kind of two things going into that decision. The thing that is kind of first and foremost to it is the normal queue is so different within this game. If you come from any other kind of competitive card game, even something like Teamfight Tactics, the ranked queues and the normal queues have kind of different generalities to them, right? You're going to have the more competitive scene in the ranked queue. You're going to have the more casual scene in the normal queue. The people in the normal queue might have ladder anxiety or whatever. There's like a variety of different reasons to why people play ranked versus play normal, and they're probably pretty well clustered over the different variety of games out there. But with the Bazaar in its state right now, it's not entirely the same. You'll still have pockets of that, right? People with ladder anxiety might want to just play in the normals. People that get butt hurt if they see the number of gems go down may only play ranked if they have a free ticket in the normal. Otherwise, right, there's like a variety of reasons as to why people play the queues, and they're probably fairly clustered and similar across the games. But the big difference with the Bazaar is that if you came in on the Founders Pass, right? If you were the person that purchased the Founders Pass, you got that big collection of gems right at the start. And if you came in on the friend pass, right? You were gifted the pass from a founder. You just didn't get any gems, and so you got to start with Vanessa, and then you had to really grind out the other champions. And so you do see this just like giant glut of Vanessas in the normal queue, because that's what the players were just kind of forced into. And so Reynad did say that wasn't the intention. They didn't intend to release the founders pack out this way, so they didn't have the kind of event pass economic grind the game and get gem stuff back in. They just had the end of run rewards in there. And so, as it is, you do see just a lot more Vanessas in the normal queue, just due to the way that the game works, right? You have to grind out a shitload of wins on free tickets to unlock another champion. That does really hinder your ability to play that champion. It's kind of time gated down the road. And so with having a lot more Vanessas in there, that more kind of casual feel, it definitely feels like almost a different game over there than you would have in the ranked queue. And so that's kind of interesting. I think it might be a valuable exercise for a lot of our viewers that do spend a lot of time in the normal queue for whatever reason. I don't care what your reason is. We're here to help you out there as well. And so I think it'll be interesting to take the next kind of week, 10 days, however long we'll be on this patch, to check that out. And so that's main reason number one, right? It just feels different being in the normal queue based on that kind of time gatedness of staying, or the time gatedness of being able to purchase those other champions if you weren't on the Founders Pass. The other thing is I'm just kind of tired of the meta in the main queue. I get how we kind of got to this state to where, some stuff got hot fixed out of the game. Lizard didn't get hot fixed. Lizard didn't get the charge update like all of the other things. And it's just like a very S tier strategy right now. It feels very much like if you played Legends of Runeterra with us, like Nora, right? If you're ever in a meta to where Nora was exceptionally good, Nora was good against all of the aggro decks. Nora was good against all of the mid-range decks. Nora was good against all of the decks that kind of bordered between mid-range and control. And then there was just a hard wall. Like any deck that attempted to be slower than Nora just completely annihilated Nora. So you would have Nora, doing good against the fast part, the little bit slower part, then the little bit slower part, and then against something like Karma Set, like Nora had like a 10% win rate, right? Or if you're playing against some kind of obnoxious like Maokai deck that would just mill out your opponent, Nora had like a 10% win rate. And so that's what this meta feels like in a large degree, is if like the lizard deck, the lizard draft coming out of Dooley is Nora. It does struggle a little bit against like burst damage, right? The true aggro decks of the Bazaar right now are good against the lizard. There are some mid-rangey style of decks, say something like a boat Vanessa, that can hold up against the lizard dually. But if you run into anything else, like any other thing that's trying to like stack poison or stack burn, or if you're a Pygmalion trying to stack health and you're trying to just sandstorm out your opponent with 30,000 shields, like those decks just do not have a shot against lizard whatsoever. And so it's just kind of dried out the meta, with a lot of Vanessa's kit being hot fixed out, a lot of Pig's kit being hot fixed out, not having access to like bees, right? Bees would be fucking sick against this nonsense that you're seeing against Dooley right now. The opportunity for the meta to kind of shape into a natural balance just doesn't really exist at this point. And so I'm just kind of like bored with the queue. Like Pygmalion doesn't feel like a real champion in this queue. Vanessa has like 2 or 3 decks that can be okay against the Dooley, but they also run into problems to where if they get frozen, they just lose. And so it's like, it feels like just playing Dooley into the other Doolies is pretty fun. Like I really actually enjoy playing Dooley quite a bit within this patch, but the other 2 champions just don't feel that great. And it feels like moving over into the normal queue, there is the opportunity for like real Pygmalion builds and real Vanessa builds. I guess the last third point I had in my head that I was going to talk about, but I forgot about, is the idea of muscle memory. That was a concept that I kind of came up with over in Legends of Runeterra, that as like if you're not familiar with us playing Legends of Runeterra, like we played the draft format for the first 2 years, and then they removed the draft format from the game. And so instead of playing a different game entirely, we just switched over to playing competitive constructed instead of playing the draft format. But you understand the game, you know the rules, you're good at kind of the intricacies, but being good at drafting and being good at it constructed is 2 separate things, even though you're playing the same game. And so with draft, you kind of get good at a lot of generalist strategies. You get really paid off for understanding a lot of the fringe stuff and understanding how like a lot of kind of off meta decks work and what makes them tick and what makes them strong. And when you're in constructed, you really get paid off for being really good at like 5 matchups, right? If you had to play 100 games of practice, you probably play like 70 of them against like really in a constructed, focus theme, you probably play like 70 of your 100 against like really top of the meta stuff, and the remaining 30 against the kind of off meta stuff, to where, in the sense of being focused in on draft, it might be more like 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 across the board, just getting the general understanding of the meta across the board. And so that's where the concept of kind of like muscle memory came about. As within constructed, you would be playing the current season, you would understand the top decks, you would be really good at those matchups and understand them. The next set would come out, those decks wouldn't be the top decks anymore. But like a year and a half down the road, the metas might change, the new cards might come out, things adapt. One of those old decks might come back out and rise up to the top, just 3 or 4 cards different. But the people that had been playing constructed a year and a half ago had all of those reps against the top decks in the format, to where I didn't have that. I didn't just play hours and hours and hours of Thresh Nasus mirror matches, and so I really felt behind in that point. And so the last kind of reason I do like jumping over into the normal queue is I don't think it's a really valuable exercise to try and play Lizard Dooley as much as we can. And if we can't play Lizard Dooley, figure out how to play Burn Dooley. And then if we can't play Burn Dooley, figure out how to play whatever, Red Dooley is the best one after that. And then that just has your bases covered, right? I don't feel like that's a super valuable exercise for me, super valuable exercise for you. And we're just going to like lose out on all of the learning experience we would get by be playing some of these off-meta decks, because Lizard Dooley is not going to be a top of the meta deck probably around the 10th of January. And so, it is valuable to actually jump in and play all those friends builds. I'm not saying there's not value in that. There's just not value in doing that, as like 60% of the games we play today. But ooh, nailed it right at the 10-minute mark. Fucking go me. let's get ourselves into this draft. Let's see how many crooks we can find and how early it turns up. And so that is the big thing with Pygmalion in this patch is everything that you do is going to be centered and focused on building towards the crook, right? You can't build towards small item builds because of the prevalence of the freeze ray, right? If you want to build around yo-yo and you want to build around multicast bird, it's just too easy for it to get frozen out of the game. And then if that falls apart, your build falls apart. So you can't go for that and really count on it. Kind of same thing applies at the top end, right? We made the Nora analogy as to where if you want to make one of those sandstorm style of builds that are just going to drag on to the very end, you can't beat the poison scaling out of a dually. And so you find yourself in this spot to where you can go for those builds, but you're going to get like 5 wins. And so if you're really looking to shoot for that 7-win mark, that 10-win mark, you're kind of pushed into going for the crook builds. But nonetheless, reasonable start here. The dog turns up. This is a great start as far as this Pygmalion stuff goes. It does give us, an early game scaling item. It builds into the crook. And then if we find some of its friends like the Regal Blade, lots of synergies to come about early. So always reasonable to have the dog turn up. Up within this next set, I'm fine to jump into silver tier items. We might find another medium that plays nicely. And hey, why not just have the crook turn up on day one? Man, that changes everything. I was really planning on, doing this like aggressive Pygmalion stuff you have to do to try and find the crook by like day 4, because it's so important to get the crook up to diamond, right? You're going to go for a crook atlatl. You need a 1-second atlatl. That's what you're really actually shooting for with the crook build. But if you miss out on the early upgrades on the crook, then it's very painful and very challenging to get there. So I was hoping to have this actually be more of a in-depth draft in that sense, but it doesn't look like it's doing. Didn't we do this on the last one? I can't remember if it was. It might have been the last pig video. I feel like we did this as to where I was like all set up to all set up to see how the crook goes and how to kind of navigate the early days without the crook making an appearance until later in the game, and then it just showed up on day 1. And so learn from the master. Learn from the master. So let's see how we can expand this out. You can get, fairly aggressive when the crook actually does turn up. You do find yourselves in a lot of spots to where, it's day 3 or so. You have something like the lost crate that you want to take pretty much every single time, but medium item turn up or tools turn up, and you have to just jump into that merchant to make sure you find the crook, and you really start to fall behind in terms of a lot of the later game scaling. And so finding it early definitely pays off in that sense as well, since we can more aggressively come in and take those things there, like the lost crate. So up within this next set, we're kind of lacking in money at this point. We can get up to 6 gold if we want. Look for a bronze tier medium item, but that doesn't sound super appealing. Let's see if we can't just go ham and maybe pick up a big scaling skill here in the early game. So nothing super good turns up. Arms dealer is within here. When you sell a weapon, gain 10 max health. It's nice combo in a little bit with the dog. It combos in a little bit with some of the other more fringe strategies that you get out of Pygmalion, and so that's kind of nice. And so yeah, as far as the crook build goes, man, like when this patch first came out, I was really cruising with the crooks. I was just annihilating all of the other all of the other worst dualies with the crook if they hadn't really figured out how to, maximize the lizard build yet. But I feel like most of the dualies out there now are running cool LEDs. And cool LEDs is just a massive problem for this build as well. And so, while I used to think that this deck was like, kind of like tier 1, tier 1.5 at worst, now it's definitely like 1.5 into 2, as the dualies have figured out the cool LEDs. It's also just kind of frustrating in the sense that the decks that are like this is kind of focused in on being able to beat the lizard. Just the bad decks that ignore the lizard tend to be good against this, and so you run into a lot of like lifesteal Vanessas that are good against this. If you run against, you can't beat Brick Buddy, and so if you run into a dually with Brick Buddy, you just lose. And so there's a lot of frustrating things in that sense as well. But all right, here, we did come across an upgrade, but we're already silver across the board, so we'll just come in and take the experience point. Otherwise, we'd really just be looking to pick up health. I like to scale health with dually, or I'm sorry, scale health with pig. And so the experience point does that a little bit, but we're really looking to get up in the, kind of 5 figures of health if we can, give us a few extra seconds against those poison stacks. But here, got a lost crate. More than happy to snatch that one up. Good deal. In the next set, probably want to come in and take weapons. The bronze tier skills and the tools don't sound that exciting. The tool could be useful if we haven't found the crook yet, or our economy was kind of fucked. But that feels good. Now we can look to take these cheaper small items. Help stack up the dog. Help stack up the arms dealer. So we'll pick up the 4-cost one. It feels like the 8s are too expensive, but the 4s are fine. And then I think we should be able to beat this guy here. We can definitely beat the coconut crab, but this... we have a crook. It's such a world of difference when you have the crook in terms of making this easier. But he has some decent medium items out here between the whetstone and the cloak, and then even picking up the safe has some interesting applications with small items. Pickpocket's fine, starting a fight, getting a gold. All right, so next set, though, we got an experience point. Keep on stacking those up. I appreciate it. What do we got here? Just trying to get that full board as fast as we can. Shield item, healing, experience, scrap. We'll just keep taking up the experience at this point. No super reason to be sitting on these sharpening stones. They should just be bronze at this point. Like the +6 attack isn't super important. Like I don't want to, neglect its importance, but at the end of the day, it won't be completely terrible if we don't get it. Now we can jump into the experience. No need for that small item anyways. All right, so Kirky's making his way out here. Thought it was Kunai, Kearney, Kirky. Probably nailed the pronunciation on that one. We should be fine here. This guy's not doing anything. And so as we wait on winning this battle, this was a glorious year for Christmas. The family stuff was all great. The presents were fine. That stuff was all well and good. But this is where I really won. I go on. I talk about the deviled eggs all the time on the channel. It's essentially what we spend probably half of our time on this channel talking about, right? It's like, I don't know, 25% talking about poops and turds and stuff, 50% deviled eggs, and that last 25% we might talk about this game a little bit. But I went to one of the family Christmases this year, and the kids came back and started reporting on the other Christmases that they'd gone to. Like, I had multiple kids say that they would go to like their grandma's Christmas and they would have deviled eggs, and they literally told them their deviled eggs were worse than mine. Like, this is one of the like absolute biggest wins I've come across in life, right? To have these little kids will fucking tell you straight up, like trash talk right to your face. And they said they literally told their grandma that my deviled eggs were better than theirs. And I was like, oh, this is so good. They won't even eat them. They won't even eat the other family's deviled eggs. They just come to the Bust family get-togethers and eat my deviled eggs, and they get all hype about it. They fucking eat the whole plate. I make 20 at this point, right? You make a dozen, that breaks out into like 20 eggs. You throw away 4 of the halves, and that gives you the extra yolks so that the eggs are like nice and full and stuff. And I just have to make more than 20 now. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to start making 30 or 40 every time I turn up to one of these things. It's a lot of pressure, it's a lot of hype, a lot of things to live up to. But man, hearing them talking trash about their grandma's fucking deviled eggs and how busts were the good stuff, that was probably the year maker. I guess I shouldn't say it feels better than making a baby, but it's close. If making a baby was top of the year 1A, this was certainly 1B. Getting the getting the feedback on the deviled eggs. But all right, let's focus in. Let's jump. So what do we got here? The Artisan of the Dunes. This one needs to be tuned. It's only useful if you're going for burn or for poison. It can be useful if you have an Atlatl without a crook, and you really need to push your Atlatl's attack speed up until the crook arrives, you can go for it. But we're fairly safe to just go for weapons out of this one. And so with this, we do have the two gold ones. We'll certainly take it. I'm going to go ahead and take golf clubs. I don't want golf clubs, but it's a medium item just to put on the board until we find better filler. And now coming up with Regal Blade, that's good. So we need to make our cash work as effectively as we can. Probably just sell the golf clubs at this point. Well, we're not going to get the value out of golf clubs until Regal Blade is here to be sold. So we can't sell the Regal Blade. We'll go ahead and just sell this other thing. Pick up the security system and now move on since we're out of money. All right, a bit of a turd of shops up next, though. Just all money sinks or shields, and the shields are going to fall off before the boss battle. That kind of sucks, and so is what it is. Now with this set, we can probably beat the Scout Trooper. We have the Crook, we have the shields. We missed out on the good shops, right? We didn't get the chance to get augmented weapons, or it's like, especially with Dog going into augmented weapons, you have a pretty good chance to pick up the skill. But that didn't turn up. We can't go to Dabbling Apprentice and maybe just try and spike the potion. That would be, kind of on the table, I think, if we didn't have the shields. But we should be able to just beat the Scout Trooper here, right? Our Dog and our Regal Blade are both pretty healthy in terms of damage. Oof. Old bust deviled eggs. Good stuff. Good stuff. Powerful year. Powerful year. Well done. Grandma's deviled eggs are no good. Fucking awesome. Alright, what do we got here? Gunpowder. That's something we could consider just hanging on to the whole game. There are, rando medium items that really pop off if you could get that extra bit of ammo. So that sounds good. Now in here, like the shitty ones, this is the kind of spot to where I'm fairly interested in just burning the gold for the big health hit. I usually like to shoot for one of these early to where we gain 200, 300, 400 health. So it gets us to the point to where we're over 1k health. Then when we come in and take things like Hearty Breakfast, we're getting at least 100 health out of it. And so this gets us fairly close, right? Jumping up to 850. We're just gonna have to work on the economy here a little bit, and so nothing we can afford now, right? We spent all of our money. Can still just come in and pick up the chocolate bars, stack up that health a little bit more. If we do find ourselves going over to, say, Lion Cane, then that'll certainly help. All right, what do we got here? We gotta just go to the free item shop. Picking up the slingshot, not exactly what we wanted. It's a better deal just to sell these things, right? The laser security system does less than a damage per second. The slingshot does a little bit more, but it only has 2 ammo. And then as we sell these, it just puts 10 damage on the Regal Blade. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and sell this stuff. Take the bonus to the blade and the dog. Unfortunate not having that extra medium item. Maybe we got a little bit too aggressive with the golf clubs. Right, that's exactly what I was talking about. I have no real intention of keeping golf clubs within this build, but just bricking out another medium item to put the stats on everything else is fairly worthwhile. This dualie's super weak though, so we should be okay here. Should be, as he starts to heal through our damage. Oh fuck, are we gonna get burnt out? Okay, it turned out to be a tie. I was like, Jesus Christ, he's not even doing anything strong. Okay. Whew. Welcome to this patch. Alright, so what do we got moving forward now? Still a little bit light on the money. We could go to Barkham just to make sure that we get an extra medium item, but I gotta feel pretty confident that a better medium item will turn up by the time we get to the to the next player round. And so we'll just take those chocolates, just go ahead and sell them and get that shit out of here. I think we'll just go to the docks. There's I don't know what the percentage chance of finding a medium item here is going to be, but it should be good enough to where we hit it, like 40% of the time or something. All right, next set though, not entirely opposed to picking up piggies. It doesn't do the medium item stuff, but the scaling is going to be strong for the next day or two. But I am still a pretty big fan of just stacking in this health as early as we can. Since it just feels like if you don't use it, you lose it, right? And so it's not an appropriate it's not an appropriate usage of the term here, but it all kind of like scales up, right? And it feels like if you skip big portions of the early game not scaling health, then your later game scaling health just doesn't do as much. And while it doesn't feel spectacular picking up 115 health here, we've managed to pick up an extra like 450 health at this point. And so, our future ones are going to give us, extra 45 health. And then the next one after that will give us an extra. It's like compound interest, right? You make all that money out there in your Bitcoins and stuff. And so I think it applies here. But with this set, I've given up on the Boiler Room Brawler. I'm pretty confident he got nerfed to where he doesn't drop the haste potion anymore. I've fought this guy way too many times without getting a haste potion to think that that's still a thing. And so I've given up on this battle. It does still have the when you haste shield item, but I don't think it's worth chasing after unless you're playing dually. And so we'll skip over that one. Blood Reef Raider is definitely a losable battle. And I don't think there's going to be anything in here we want, right? We're not going to put Crow's Nest in our Crook build, so let's just go and fight the Flame Juggler. I think we're fast enough to beat this before the poison or the burn takes us down. I'd feel a little bit better if it was Old Crook, and the Crook was going to put the bonus attack on the Ritual Dagger. But we've scaled quite a bit of health. We have the Crook out here already. I think we'll get the takedown before the burn gets us. And then just getting that extra experience is probably better than fighting the Blood Reef Raider. Alright, we got the victory pretty easy. This is burn stuff. First time your opponent's at half health, burn 10. Yeah, whatever. Can technically trigger a freeze if we get the freeze skill or something, but not exactly what we're looking for. Alright, so let's go dig after these items. We really want to be finding something medium. I don't care what it is. Safe might be it, right? If we come into this next battle and have to put safe in, fine. Safe still gives us that medium item bonus to all of our items. And so we'll pick that up. A 2-cost weapon is fine. I don't want to just pick bandages, though. It does level up the dog. It doesn't level up Regal Blade. It doesn't level up Arms Dealer. And so that feels a little bit greedy to me at this point. If we had like 80 gold, then fine. But it's not where we're at the moment. Holy shit. It's coming in and snatching up that extra Crook. Fucking A. Don't mind if I do. So let's do this. Let's sell these items. Pick up the Brass Knuckles. We can sell it. And we should just be off to the races, right? Don't have any money now. Very easy abandoned chest. Alright, off to battle against Vanessa. Fucking A, man. just the crooks are turning up. I'm due to do like 3 runs in a row without one. We should be pretty okay here. I guess the beach ball does haste. It can haste itself. It doesn't look like it even does anything here, but good stuff. Diamond crooks. Or about to have the diamond crook. That's wild having a gold this early though. So what do we got? Heal, income, shields. I think we can just start taking sharpening stones. We don't super need them. I think we need a little bit of help. Like if we find a bronze Atlatl with a gold crook, I don't think that's a 1 second item. I think you need the gold crook and a silver Atlatl, or you need a diamond crook to get there. And so let's at least just take the sharpening stone at this point. It's so wild that, you look at something like +2 income, and it does scale harder than the sharpening stones, right? But, 2 income doesn't pay off until 3 rounds from now, compared to the sharpening stones, which just, give us 4 gold immediately. It's so wild how bad something like +2 income is compared to the monster loot this game. But all right, let's move forward. I'm going to just pick up the chocolate bars. We're kind of lacking in money, and there wasn't a really specific shop at that point. Not opposed to picking up snack time. Weapons is a good shop, though. It's just, I want to be able to go to the shop and roll, right? We're really looking for Atalatal at this point. And what I guess the things we're basically looking for is I'd like to find Atalatal. That's a must find. I'd like to find Jabellian Longbow. I tend to pretty much every single build use Jabellian Longbow, Crook, Regal Blade, and then the last two things are kind of up in the air. Either two weapons or one weapon and one other thing. I don't want three weapons, two non-weapons. And those last kind of two things kind of just depends on like enchants falling and big items falling or whatever. But if we're going to be like specifically looking for Atalatal and Jabellian Longbow, I want to be able to go to the weapon shop and roll and then purchase a silver, which we can't do at this point. We need 11 gold for that. I guess we could sell these sharpening stones, but it feels just a little bit short. I'm just going to take the max health at this point. All right, though. Within this next set, don't want the burn items. The Preening Duelist don't have anything we want from him either, and so I'm pretty certain we can beat Mod Squad here. Let's just go ahead and sell off these chocolate bars, get a little bit of bonus strength before the battle starts. Let's see if we can't take him down. Ooh. Easy game. Get out of here, Mod Squad. Give me that crypto. I taught the world about compound interest earlier. We got to get the crypto in here as well. That's what it does. You put the money in the crypto, it's 7% interest. In 10 years it doubles. It's exactly how it works. I learned it on MSNBC. So let's see, what do we got now? Medium items, that should be okay. I don't think we want to be like rolling for skills just yet, and so this feels like a safe enough shop. Got a safe turning up within here. Let's do this. Let's sell the one we have. So we'll get the 3 spare changes out of it. And we'll pick up the other one. We'll get more spare changes if we need to. Not purchasing cargo shorts. It's a little too expensive for my tastes. Next set, nothing interesting. Okay. Now, I think we will go to gold items. I would prefer to have something a little bit better than the safe on the board. Cash cannon doesn't feel that great. We're at a 9 gold crypto, lost $1 on it. Let's take a roll to see if something better turns up. Nope. Can't just switch to the cash register. that counts as something a little bit better, right? Not really. Takes so long to pay off. Like, I think if we had, well, I was going to say, if we had a gold dog, I would be a little bit more interested in picking up cash register, but I think we'll just skip over that and keep the money. So what do we got in here? Sharpening stones. There's no real bonus health stuff in here. We had tools. We sold them off already. All right. Up against Vanessa. Let's see if she can handle the safe coming at her. Ooh. It's not a lifesteal Vanessa. We should be okay. These, what do you call it? Like, trebuchet builds tend to be fairly okay. She is kind of strong here with a gold trebuchet, and we're down an item. But some of the, like, lifesteal crow's nest builds can be almost impossible to beat. Looks like we're just going to be a little bit too slow here. It's a bummer. We would have definitely gotten an extra 300 in if we had pretty much any weapon in place of the safe, but we were definitely a little greedy coming into that. That's our fault, not hers. So
do you have any really
let's move on.
small things?
So what do we got? More medium stuff? Let's do the same thing. We'll sell the safe. Let's go ahead and sell these spare change, whatever. Pick up another safe. Take the roll. What do we got? There's the Atalatal. That's the bigger one that we needed here. So I'm just going to go ahead and sell off the safe. You can min-max these spare changes if you want. I don't think there's a ton of value in doing it. You can move these lumbors. Just purchase it and sell it. Get a little bit of bonus on the Regal Blade. Won't do that for an 8 gold item, though. All right, into the next set. Kind of lacking in the money. I think we'll just take the experience point over the 50 health. And now we got ourselves a real battle out here. And so yeah, our Adelatl a little bit short, right? It's only on 4 seconds. We either need to get the Adelatl upgraded or we need to get the Crook upgraded to get it down to that 1 second hit. But with those 4 sharpening stones, we did take it from a 4 second to a 2.8, so we took 1.2 seconds off of the cooldown. That's great. And then we accidentally got a 19 gold crypto, so let's go go ahead and sell that one as well. Planned it that way. So with this, I'm just going to fight the Mosquito. I don't think we're quite strong enough to beat the Lich. If we had the 1 second Adelatl, I think we could take it, but we're just a touch too weak at the moment. And then these like Insect Wings are fine. Paralyzing Rush can be useful depending on if you accidentally find a slowing item or something, and so it's not the worst one.
Believe you'll win.
We got cooldowns. Okay, I'll hold on to the cooldowns. I typically put that on Jabellian Longbow or whatever our big like single strike thing is. Like dogs, if we say got a gold dog early and it was going to be like a 1500 attack dog, that would be a great place to put those cooldowns. But it's probably just something for Jabellian Longbow now. All right, next set though. Money shouldn't be an issue for a while, but nothing to spend on there. We can just come in, pick up the weapon. Nothing too crazy out of that one. This set, we got weapon or sharpening stones. Sharpening stones it is. Now we can do medium items or a rare shop. Gotta roll the dice on the rare shop, right? What's this guy? Improve your weapons? This guy puts like lifesteal or some shit on him. Like, I randomly had this guy turn up before, and it blew my mind. I thought he had good stuff, right? 25% crit is good. All your weapons gain 10 damage is shitty. Upgrade your leftmost weapon will give us a diamond crook is probably what we want, or give your leftmost weapon lifesteal. I'm not opposed to lifesteal, but diamond crook is just way too insane at this point. Now we got that 1 second Adelatl, right? Oh man, what a fucking high roll this is. Look at this. Look at this Dooley coming out here getting the augmented weaponry. Please. He's not even... Number one, how dare you? Number two, you gotta leave the augmented weaponry for everyone else out there. Like, Dooley just doesn't deserve it. And then number three, he's not even trying to use it. He's still out here trying to do lizard shit and burn shit. He's got augmented weaponry. Like, get your race Carl going, bro. What are you doing? Oh, why don't you have a diamond crook on day 6? Like, ask yourself that question, bro. What are you what are you doing wrong?
The Bazaar.
All right, let's jump into these skills, though. What do you got for us? So, arms dealer is safe. Crit is something we definitely need. Medium weapons getting flat damage is quite good as well. Sharp corners, I'm not opposed to. I will kind of like preemptively take sharp corners if you accidentally pick up shield on Adelatl or something, then it becomes quite good. But these other things are just like too strong as it is, right? Just picking up the basic 18 damage to medium items, right on point with what we're trying to do. Next set, economic items, a monster or experience. We can just fight a monster. We should be able to beat all of them. Get more experience than just that single point. Looks like we're good to go against the trash titan, I believe this is. It is interesting if you click on fight a monster, it just sends you straight into battle. You don't get to like edit your build in any way, should you have the means to do so. But if you go to say like the mountain pass, and then in mountain pass you pick fight a monster, it does show you the monster first. And so I don't know, if you're going up against like Caltrop's boss or something, you can change your build around a little bit to be better suited for it. It's interesting. There's the differences between the two. But here we should be good to go to beat Radiant Corsair. Like, why not just come out and pick up Fiery Rebirth while we're at it? We deserve it. Wouldn't be opposed to just putting a Burning Katana in as well. It's probably better than, well, it's probably not better than anything we have. The way I like to describe these builds is your items get to activate once. right? You get one activation out of Flail, one out of activation out of Dog, one activation out of Regal Blade, one activation out of Crook. Ataladdle's out here just flailing away. That's fine, but you typically, have the time for your 6-second weapon to go off, even if it gets slowed. You don't have time for 10 seconds of weapons to go off. You just die to all the poison, and so something like Burning Katana, if it gets 5 hits in and puts 15 burn on the opponent, that's probably not enough to be relevant, but
Maybe too nice.
Anchor could be, right? Getting that big percentage health in is always good. But what do we got here? It looks like this is going to be... Oh, Sharpening Stones turned up at the end. I was going to say, it looks like it's probably going to be chocolate bars, but we got the space for these stones. That's good. Oop. Just keep stacking them on Ataladdle. That's fine. How much... I guess you can't tell how much Anchor does. But Anchor being, like, next to Ataladdle just turns it into a 6-second weapon, right? It gets so much haste. It's got to be good. We could even drop the cooldown on it if we wanted to. What do we got? We got tons of money. Let's just go for the medium items. Maybe we'll start getting some upgrades. Safe is fine. Golf clubs we can sell. Well, we took our Regal Blade out. Golf clubs isn't even really worth the purchase at this point. Guess the Regal Blade upgrade came in. And then there's a Jabellian longbow. All right, let's do this. Let's sell Flail. We'll put the Jabellian longbow in. So we have our our big three-peat, right? We got the Crook, we got the longbow, we got the Ataladdle. Our remaining build is just going to be whatever we do with like the Dog and the Anchor here. No guarantees that those are going to be anywhere near our end game build, but they're fine for the moment. So if you didn't catch that, I just went and put the cooldown reduction on Jabellian longbow. We can sell the rest of this stuff real quick. See if the Regal Blade or the Dog is going to have more attack. Whichever one has the most is what we'll use in this next battle. Lumbors is too expensive just to resell. And now I think we just want to take the attack power. Like, shields are so awkward. If you run up against a lizard, they just don't do anything. I am seeing a lot more race Carls these days, but they typically just don't do anything. All right, though. So what do we got here? We got 551 on the Dog, 423 on the Blade. So Dog it is for the round. Up against Rob's the Boss. Boss Rob coming at us. Look at that. He's got augmented weaponry as well. Fuck all these people, man. We didn't even see the encounter. He's also got Brick Buddy in here. I think his Brick Buddy's going to be too slow. He's not on Friends. He's on the core, and so it's not hasted. He's not getting a million activations right out the gate. You typically just can't beat Brick Buddy. It's like first Aiden activates, and then the core activates, and then it's hasted the rest of the game, and it's out here gaining like 700 shield every 3 seconds. Like, you can't beat that as a Crook, but that guy was on the core. He wasn't really making the most of it. All right, though, next set, we'll just take the temporary boost here. I don't really want rando item. Now we get stuff. Oh, here's bonus health starting to kick in. 330 health, that's a real deal. And I'm not opposed to taking gumballs at this point, right? We definitely want to get crit on our Ataladdle and stuff, and so I think that's okay. It's probably better than just sells items. We're not super worried about item upgrades at this point, right? We got the one item upgrade we care about. We got that Crook up to Diamond. Like, upgrading Jabellian Longbow to Diamond status doesn't do a ton comparatively, right? It's not super worth just like chasing after. All right, just go ahead and sell that shit. Min-max all you want. We're not going to deal with it. In this set, I don't hate fighting Joyful Jack. He's got that skill that makes freezes last 1 second less. Otherwise, not too interested in either of these burn bosses. I think we can give up the experience point to just try and spike that good skill.
Not many come here.
Right, looking up here, it's this Rapid thaw, when your opponent freezes your items, reduce the duration by a second. Why is this lagging so hard?
I didn't think this was possible.
I'm still curious what the deal with that is. Like, I feel like
Pacifists.
my machine is capable of, should be capable of handling a game designed to be played on a phone. And I don't know what the deal is there. But nonetheless, we can take the experience points here. Well worth the 10 gold. I didn't catch how many we got, but I'm sure it was a good number. And now the random item enchantments are big. And so we haven't come across anything yet. We haven't seen any Kevs. Kev passes out the items with shields. We haven't seen the dude that passes out turbo items, the haste items. Like, we typically pick some of that stuff up along the way. But we just haven't seen it to this point. But the artist, whatever it is, will probably just put it on Adelatl. Oh, it's a random one. Okay. Well, I guess we're definitely just putting it on Adelatl. Looks like it got brown. That's heavy, right? Heavy Adelatl on activate, slow 2 items for 2 seconds. Not bad. Opens up the gates in terms of getting good slow skills as well. Dropping 2 slows every second is pretty strong.
My fight isn't with you.
Just random bullshit like get plus attack on slow and whatnot. Alright, I think we should be okay here. Dude lucked out a little bit with our Adelatl popping off and just missing on the sniper rifle multiple times, but it looks like we should still get the kill before the sniper rifle is even close to popping.
Next time, boys,
I don't think he even got a single
less
item
blunder,
activation that round, and
more
so
plunder.
hope he had fun. That's one of the things that's been interesting to me with this game is it's like in my head I know that there's not like an actual opponent on the other side of the battle, but they've done a great job of making it feel like the opponent is still there. Like I still get a little anxious when we take a shitty build against somebody and they're going to make fun of us because our build is so bad, or you know, or something like that, when we get to start talking trash to the opponent because they didn't even get to activate an item. Like it's weird. Like in your head, you know that they aren't there, but it definitely feels like that the opponent is there and potentially doing something. But with these upgrades, like, I'm not opposed to hanging on to Anchor. The question is, does it get bonus percentages, right? I think it goes from 20 to 25% or 20 to 30%, to where if we upgrade Adelatl, it's just going to be damage, right? If Adelatl was going to do more slowing, I would definitely upgrade the Adelatl, but I think the Anchor is the upgrade point here, and we're just going to end up selling the dog. And so the Anchor is what will probably be carrying into the later game. Yeah, it jumped up to 30% of the enemy's max health, so good upgrade there. All right, next set. I'm good to just keep stacking health. There's no like super good reason to just dig into Barkham and spend a bunch of money not getting any upgrades, and so I'll take the diamond chocolate bars here. I'm going to go and purchase these gumballs on this next set as well. Non-weapon items doesn't sound that great. 275 health is probably like comparably good, but I really want to be just stacking in this crit at any opportunity we can get. And so we're going to be adding in. I mean, if we had spent our upgrades on the dog, right? If we were sitting on Diamond Dog at this point, I would definitely be like hype about taking gumballs over health. It seems like going to this shop and getting 3% crit on all of our weapons, and then like 50 health, or like, I guess the closer thing would be like 30 health and 3 crit. Seems better than the 225 health. Alright, next set though. No need to fight the sniper rifle guy. Not super interested. Oh, I forgot this guy has the cloak as well. I was gonna say, I'm not super interested in cloak, but if we were, that's where we would go. I don't know. Maybe this is an excuse to just buy a new computer. Like, I almost pulled the trigger on buying a new laptop over Christmas. The one I have has been, it's like it'll turn on and then the screen kind of breaks. It just like gets a bunch of multicolored bars across the screen, and it sounds like the fix is get it repaired. And it's like if you're going to spend, $300-400 to get it repaired, you might as well just spend like $800 on a new machine. And so, as considering that, I didn't pull the trigger on it. It's like, well, it's not that much of a deal to just restart it and wait the extra 15 seconds. But man, it's like such a long 15 seconds when when you're trying to get out there and do your serious gamings, All right, so what do we got here? We went to the find any item in the bazaar. Is this a radiant flail? I would love to purchase radiant flail, but it costs 64. We can't afford it. We could, I guess, sell the anchor to get it, but that doesn't sound too worthwhile. So we'll skip over that. If it was like turbo flail, I think we would probably go out of our way to get it, but this isn't a super important one for radiant. And so let's roll a little bit, see if anything interesting turns up. I'm not super worried about what turns up. I don't know how disguise works, right? When you get this, you get the non-Vanessa item, whatever, but your items from other heroes have 15% chance to crit. And so, like, does our Ataladdle and stuff get 15%? Is it other heroes from Vanessa, or is it other heroes from Pygmalien? I'm not certain how that goes. I'm pretty certain it's other heroes from Vanessa. And so that 15% should be going onto every, like if we replace Dog with Disguise, we should be getting 15% on Ataladdle and stuff. That's probably worthwhile. Oh, Skyscraper. Skyscraper is what I think is the problem with Dooley at the current patch. I think a lot of Dooley would be fixed, and I think Pufferfish out of Vanessa would be fixed if they just like pushed the lizard and they pushed the Pufferfish to gold. And you can't find them until the mid game. That's one of the things with Pig at the moment right now, right? These Skyscraper builds should be pretty good in this patch. Like getting that 5-second OTK off of a heavy Skyscraper should be exceptionally good. It's just so hard to make it to the stage of the game to where you can purchase this stuff and you have all the requisite items to make it pop off. That's what it should kind of feel like with some of these builds, like the lizards, right? You did some work to get to like day 8, and now that it's like day 8, day 9, you can pivot over to the really heavy end game, late game build. That's what you see out of the Skyscraper stuff with Pig. Like this is the time to start to pivot to Skyscraper, but you have to do so much fucking around to get to this point that it's too hard to do. But we're gonna take Disguise. I'm getting distracted. We're gonna see how this plays out. With this stuff, Sharpening Stone turns up, that's fine. Now let's see. Ataladdle is at 7% crit. We put in the Disguise, it's at 7% crit. So it does do it that backwards way, right? Why is the Anchor is just, there we go. Anchor's at 7% crit. We put the Disguise in, and then the Anchor goes up, and so it does recognize Big. So we'll just sell that, I guess. Bummer. Bummer it is. Even the shops are lagging now. I'll reset it once we get to the up to the boss round.
Faulty saw cost me my arm.
All right, so what do we got here? I skipped over the small items. I'm pretty certain we're just getting rid of the dog soon, and so I didn't see a super need to keep it around. All right, off we go. Up against old Dooley.
Noticed? I'm huge.
Get that 1.2k anchor up here. Looks good. Guy's going purely for the raise. We should be pretty set on this. The slows are so good in this space. We got him down to below half health before he even got an item activation. So strong getting those slows in. This is what I'm talking about with, when you battle these other Doolies that are in the know and you start seeing a lot of cool LEDs. These slows are just like so good against a build like ours, to where if the Dooley starts off and they freeze one item and they slow 2 items, and it's like, oh cool, we got like a 1k damage in, but we still got 2k to go, and then we're up to 900 burn at that point. We'll see if that's something that zings us before it's all said and done. But decent stuff here. We can continue to gumball up. I mean, maybe we do end up just being stuck with the dog the rest of the way. I would think that, like, Lion Cane, what would it be at? It would be at just under 500 attack at this point. This might just be it. This might be all we see. Like, if we see a turbo item or something, that'll definitely make us think, but the dog might be stuck here. Alright, so this is a pretty easy Lord of the Wastes. We would love to find the skill, right? We're not doing anything with this this crit stuff for the most part, but the foreboding winds when anyone uses an item gain 2% crit. It's just like crit is the one thing that we have trouble finding. And getting those big crit stacks fast off that Adelatl just adds tons and tons of damage to us. And so, see what turns up. Looks like we got it. Good job us. Good job team. Coming out of this next set, could spend all of our gold for 1,500 money. It's not like we're spending a ton of cash at this point. Let's take it. So that looks good. With no money, we take regen, Pygmalien skills we can't use, but 325 health is in here. Very easy set of rounds. Up to the next dually Uncle Mad out here. See if Uncle Mad gets big mad with this. But it's to that point, right, to where, you know, now if we level up and we get to get plus 700 health, that's a pretty big deal. So let's see. Yeah, we got a fairly decent chunk out of his health. We took about a third of his health away before he got an activation. He did get a slow in after that, or a freeze in after that, but our next round of damage took him down. I think that anchor might have crit. Looks like he got 20 to 0'd in no time. All right, good stuff. So yeah, let's move on. Chocolate bar as it is. We only got $6. Probably should have taken the regen off of that. I don't know. I guess it does level up the dog just a little bit, but all right, whatever. Let's jump into the portal. Oh, enter the Thieves Guild. What a perfect find at this point. We can grab everything from the vault and just pick up like 50 gold out of this. You could have fought Mr. Moo. I don't think Mr. Moo has any real wins, and holy shit, we got 2 upgrades out of this. Oh, that's sick. That's sick. So let's see. Who do we want to upgrade at this point? Probably just get the most damage upgrading Adelatl, although we could go Diamond Dog. It's just like we're on the last day, right? And so how much more damage do we really get out of a Diamond Dog? Holy shit, what an insane Thieves Guild. So we'll go Diamond Dog. Now, let's just sell all this stuff one at a time. We don't want upgrades, right? We want all the damage just dropping on the dog. So we'll pick these up the best way we can. No upgrade, no upgrade. Sell this stuff. And the last one. Fucking insane. Just taking no money into the Thieves Guild, coming out with 53 gold and 2 upgrades. That's what life's all about right there. Learn to high roll from the master. See if we can't upgrade this Lord of the Wastes thing. Why not, right? Why not just stack in some insane crit while we're at it? We're just rolling high. Why not roll even higher? Get fucking zinged. That was definitely a crit off the anchor, hit for 3k.
Not all
Didn't land that time.
Jabalians are passive.
Pendulum could be like little interesting. The Jabalian longbow is not super strong on this build, but I don't think the haste just doesn't feel worth it at this point. Now we're coming out. 800 health feels pretty good. Temporary boost we'll take and just put the extra damage on our items. All right, off to the races. Seems like the 3 spare change and 36 gold feels like it's, or 36 attack onto the dog feels like it's probably the good choice. But if we're about to finish off here, we'll try and just high roll and upgrade.
Go make some more stuff.
Not planning on doing too much more battling out here. All right, though, let's sell off these small items. Up to battle. Whew, how do you all feel about this? It's a level 15 pig that only has 5 wins. He has to have rolled so high at this point. He has to have rolled higher than us to where you just lose every round and then you just go on a giant win streak. I'm curious to see what this build looks like. He's probably got some item enchants out here. He's got a deadly Regal Blade at the end. We can survive the hits off of it. I think we're okay. It's scary with the Lord of the Wastes ability puts the crit onto everybody. So his items were getting it as well, but that big Anchor Blast came in for the big crit again at the end of the day, sealing up those 10 wins. GG, well played victory for old Bust out here. And so yeah, that was a fairly straightforward run, I think. Again, I was intending on things to be a little bit more challenging, but we found the crook on day one and got a diamond super fast, and so it was just kind of off to the races with it from there. But we did get to showcase some other stuff. There were some interesting decisions along the way, some points to learn on. Getting heavy onto Addle was exceptionally strong as well, and so I think you got a couple of nuggets along the way, even though this was a fairly straightforward crook run in this patch. But nonetheless, good stuff. I had fun with that. Hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. So if everyone enjoyed the video, maybe learned a thing or two along the way, you had a good time watching. This is Bust and me. Thank you for being here.